says we're live, so
No.
hopefully no issues.
All right. Not like last Sunday.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Let me pull up my other stuff. My best friend. Da-da-da. I don't know why that's all of a sudden stuck in my head. Like honestly.
It's catchy.
Um, where's my Twitch app?
Overrated.
It's like let me find the Twitch app. Let's go. No, I don't feel like updating Twitch right now. Thank you very much. Love it. All right, let me just check audio and then we can begin. Okay, there's my voice.
There we go.
And I just heard you. Okay, cool. We're back with another edition of What Do You Think, Bitch? Episode 4.
Ooh. Episode 4.
Episode 4, even though 3 was a piece of garbage.
3 was shit, man.
I mean, honestly, the part that went like 20 fucking minutes or whatever it was actually did fairly well.
That was our long... Yeah, that one was our successful one, but it just... So many...
Right. So it's like...
so many lost moments. Oh, man. I'm so exhausted.
Tell me about it.
After a long fucking... It's like, I'm trying to get some mental recovery back after a long semester, but shit. It's gonna take a minute for me to get back into my shit.
Right. I mean, I could have slept the whole fucking day away, like, honestly. By the time I
didn't wake up officially till 10, yeah, so yeah.
By the time I saw your message, it was noon, sometime around noon.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like half asleep when I responded to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, whatever.
The string thing. I was trying to get amped up, and then I was like,
Then you gotta, like, bleh, response. I'm just like,
nah. Right. Putting on my face now. Then you left, and then you came back.
What was really dumb? And I'm like, really? Really? Of all times, you pick now? And you
that's when,
like,
that's what they do.
See me putting on my face, and it's like all of a sudden you need me to do something. I'm like,
right. That's when they need. I don't know. That's when they need something the most.
Because like, bitch, if I'm gonna run to Walmart, I'm not putting on this whole face. Okay, it probably looks odd as fuck if I go out in public and people see this, and it's like, bitch.
But you dressing up for
like. I am by no means a professional, so it's just like.
They like.
I mean, on camera, it looks alright.
The
but...
youth. They said the youth today. Child. I swear these kids get faster and faster.
It's like I'm by no means a professional, bitch. Like I'm just like.
They like how much? How much?
Yeah. Let me look less dead.
For a rub and tug, 25. For actual head, 50.
Bitch. That's some cheap going rates.
Right, and then for the actual home run, that's where it gets expensive.
I can't with you.
I got that offer before. It was, I don't know what website I was on. It was like a little chat place or something like that. Most people who, like, whatever, meet and talk and shit like that. And I've gotten some weird messages on there, man. Like, I got one was, I don't even know the person. They just hit me up and say, hey, I'm stuck on the freeway. Can you send me money? I'm like, what? I don't even know you. And I was broke at the time, so I was like, well,
some people are desperate for that money, you know what I mean? So it's like...
Yeah, this is the beginning of the bot phase. So, and then another one I actually it was like year 2 of college for me. So it was one night, and an actual, actual woman of the night gave me her rates. I said, that's actually not bad as fuck. Like, local woman, she was just like, yeah, she was attractive, very attractive. Right. It was very, 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 at the time of that night, very tempting.
Oh, right.
I think she's like, she didn't call it sex, though. She called it roses. So she was online, so she's selling it as a bundle of roses. So if you want I forgot how she said it. She's like, if you want like a dozen roses, it's like 55, 60. And then if you want like a bundle of them, it's about 75 to like almost 100. And then if you want the big ass bouquet and all that bullshit, the whole
Right.
works.
Right.
I was like, I said I couldn't even tell if I was being offered a funeral home service
And you're like,
or
huh.
or actual sex. I was just like, she's fucking good.
Well, that kind of reminds me of the whole rose thing. It reminds me of I don't know if you've ever seen it, but TLC does like these certain episodes of like My Strange Addiction or like bullshit of like people like to collect things, right? There's this one guy
Mm-hmm.
that likes to collect like love dolls. And
Mm.
like um he likes, well, if he can get them you know, fresh and new, he will, but a lot of the time he buys them used, or they're owned already by somebody. So he'll like ask a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
questions like, is she a virgin? And like if they are, they come with like this like rose. And I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, I just like to collect them. I'm like, boo boo, I don't think that's just collecting, because
At
that's a
this
lot of
point,
effort, especially with those dolls.
really
Like,
is.
they're made of silicone and everything else, and silicone, if you don't take care of it, will like crack and break and da 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 da. So you have to like clean them quite regularly, keep them somewhat moisturized and all this weird stuff. Like, it's a lot of maintenance. And those dolls ain't cheap. They're like upwards of 5 grand depending what type of doll, the detail, all that. So it's just like, oh, but it's insane.
Mm-mm-mm.
They do the whole rose thing, like there's colored roses. I don't know if there's a difference in the color roses or what, but I just know if they come with a rose, they're
Yeah,
supposed to be virgins, blah blah blah.
right. It's like dang shit. People do things like yeah. She protected herself in case I was a cop. So
Right?
I was like yeah. So I was like, well, like not that I don't know what you're doing, but like yeah, it was very very. It was a Friday night, very tempting. But then I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I live in these dorms. I don't want this bitch knowing where I stay at. So I was like no.
Because then they'll keep coming back, and then if she has a pimp, and then it's like a whole
Mm-mm-mm.
situation.
You owe my
Honestly,
lady. You owe her some money and me some money.
honestly, it's quite a racket. Like, there's people that
Well,
got nailed around here for
most
it.
nowadays hoes don't really have pimps anymore, just cause
True,
like
you can
you
freelance
know,
nowadays.
yeah, like now you got OnlyFans, all kind of shit. So like you really don't even need the surface of somebody taking a percentage of what you got.
I mean, back in the day, it was more so for protection, but like half the time your pimp isn't around, so it's like,
Yeah, different age now. Now like women pretty much got that whole area sold up now, so they really don't need the protection.
and quite frankly, it's still pretty difficult to be like hoeing in general, just because the cops.
Yeah, they have to exactly. Now it's done in other forms now. So like yeah,
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
legal prostitution
But they still get
with
nailed. It's quite
OnlyFans,
funny.
Premium,
Well, like,
Patreon, gaming, Twitch. So yeah,
I mean, there's an extent of what you can do on here, though. But a lot of people get away with murder on
extents.
here.
This is yeah. But the boob streamers, you know what I'm saying, like stuff like that. So like yeah, pretty much people get their rocks off in a lot of other fucking ways
Right.
nowadays. So it's like shit. It's
Agreed.
like yeah, you really don't even need to walk the streets no more. Shit.
True. True.
You really do not. You really don't. It's like shit. It's like what? That's like
I
it
mean,
all just
yeah.
translating. Now the cops can't really touch it or anything. They well like
Yeah, as
can't
long as
really
you're not.
say anything about it. Like
I mean, as long as you're not
all we
like
can just
actually hoeing, then yeah.
yeah.
But if they do a sting operation, like that's happened like a few years back in one of the place like neighborhoods around the region.
Mhm.
Like they were hoeing out of their fucking house, and they fucking offer their services to a cop. Apparently, it's quite funny.
It was just too dangerous to do it the old school way. Now like it's just
Right.
it's either do it like
Well,
that now.
it was always kind of funny because like when I would go out and meet somebody or whatever, doing my thing, and like, oh, if we were meeting at night, right, and we're just gonna meet up and then go wherever, my dad would be like, and even like the front of the family, all that, they would be like, be careful, don't do this.
Mm-hmm.
There's hoes out there at night at the train station, and I'm like, what hoes are you talking about? Because I didn't see nobody down there except for people waiting for the train to go down to the city. Like, what are you talking about? There ain't no hoes down there.
Word.
They ain't strutting their stuff. Like, The most I gotta worry about is creepy ass men sitting in the shadows saying shit to me, bro. That's
Ain't
it.
no hoes. Ain't no
I've
hoes
had
out
some weird
here.
ones though. Like honestly, there was like one dude. He was on his phone. I was walking. I got past the train station. I would walk past like there's like this area. There's a road that goes down, and it's like behind this stretch of businesses, and there's a parking lot and all that. And this guy was like leaning against the building, and he was obviously on his phone smoking and all that shit. And he like asks me for the time, and I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me right now, dude? Like, you have a phone on
Word.
you. There's that. There's clocks all around the fucking train station. Why don't you just look?" I'm here minding my own business, like, don't get murdered, don't get murdered, don't get murdered.
don't
um,
don't die on me.
then
Don't die on me.
there was another one where like this guy was on a bike, and he came out of nowhere. He like originally rode past me. He turns around and starts trying to hit on me while he's riding his bicycle. And I'm just like, dude,
Mm-mm.
don't. Until he realized that I was going to meet up with somebody that he saw figured down the alleyway, and he's like, "Oh, don't tell him. Don't tell him I was hitting on you. Da-da-da-da. I don't." It's like, dude, ain't nobody interested in you. It's the
Ain't
middle of the
nobody
night.
thinking about you, boo
You
boo.
riding on your bike and you're trying to hit on me? No, no. You don't come up to a chick in the middle of the night first off and do that shit.
Mm-mm.
Like, I'm prepared to scream, cut your ass, do what I gotta do to survive.
Mm-mm.
Like, fuck.
Exactly. Yeah, ain't no woman in the night here.
Mm-mm.
Got the game all the way fucked up.
But, I don't know.
It be like that though.
It does. It sure is, but things are changing. Who
Just,
knows? But I haven't seen
things
no
is
damn
big
hookers around
change.
here. Maybe down in the
Yeah,
city on some bad fucking neighborhoods, but it ain't like how it used to be, like when our parents were kids and shit. My dad tells me
nah,
stories.
like they
Oof.
he say, man, you can walk out the door and see. Now
Well, no, he
they can live stream. They can do just about anything in the world
he
to
even
promote
told me like the
themselves.
nastiest thing possible was like where they lived down in the city, like when we were younger. He was like, when we lived there, you go outside, you walk down the road, you got a fucking hooker just like pulling out her pad and like having sex with whoever on the street, and it's like that's
Mm,
disgusting. Like,
disgusting. Just hearing it.
ugh. Like honestly, that's how bad shit happens. Like, no, thank you. I mean, no judgment to
Yeah, I'm
people who
not.
patronize, like, do their
I
thing,
mean,
do your
people.
thing,
Hey,
but
people had to do what they had to do at one point. But yeah, like
mm-hmm,
I'm glad it's a little bit more sanitary nowadays. I'm like,
exactly,
look,
because that's the thing I think of is like the dangers involved. Like, honestly, with STIs or STDs, depending who wants to say it, but I think it's now STIs they call it now. But
mm-hmm.
just the thought of how it could spread so easily by doing stuff like that and being unsanitary about it, it's just like, but no judgment to whoever's had to go down that route and live that life. Like, we all have a struggle, you know?
Woo
Do your thing, baby.
woo. Real thing. But nowadays, everybody has a safer way of doing these things,
Mm-hmm.
so nobody gets killed
Yup.
technically. But things
Well,
like that.
yeah.
Like now, like yeah, nobody has to put their body
You're not as
in
risk.
danger.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing anybody can do now is just like, oh, she is just talk shit. Like
Yeah.
you do this for money. I'm like, but you're
And
watching them.
and
Mhm. Exactly.
it's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Like,
but you couldn't make that doing what I do. So it's like,
yeah, it's like yeah, you're doing that for money. Blah blah blah.
I mean,
But
if you're good
but
at
but
something, don't do it
but,
for
but
free. Like,
my
honestly.
thing exactly. I mean, more likely, like yeah, it's like but you watching the shit though. So like yeah, if you don't like the content, don't
Well,
follow the
it's just like the
person.
people that have issues with like people that are in the sex industry, like other parts of the sex industry, like porn stars and all that. And it's
Yeah, they
like,
don't even. Porn stars don't even have to. They don't have to do it. They can have one sexual partner and like somebody they trust, and then
mhm,
film their own shit with that one person.
exactly,
Saves you a lot on diseases.
right. It's when you bring in other partners that you have to constantly get tested. Well, That's the thing. Like, the adult industry is quite regulated in that sense, especially if you get into like the big leagues. We'll just say that. You know what I mean? That's the better way to put it. But
Mm-hmm.
testing has become more rigorous, and thank God for it because honestly. But it's like there's people that judge that, but yet you're at home watching it, beating your meat to it, but you're gonna judge the person
Mm-hmm.
who does it. Okay, that makes
Mm-hmm.
total sense. Yeah.
That makes major fucking sense.
Like, oh my god, I can't with people that are like that. It's just like, so your points.
I
Your
mean, my judgment shit. I don't have no judgment in the field, so it's just like yeah, like dude, do what you got to do. You know,
yeah.
if it's something you want to do and you making money off it, do your thing.
As long as you're happy and all that, go for it. As long as you're not hurting nobody else, that's what matters. Honestly. But like, other than that, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all.
Yeah, for real. That's big facts.
Big, big facts. So hopefully, Streamlabs is gonna keep running well as we conversate.
Oh
So
yeah,
far,
hey, nothing's happened so far.
yeah, so far so good. But fair warning to anybody who watches this, it's just like, yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen.
You're like how's that gonna work this time type shit.
Oh yeah, because like I put in that report, and they give you the generic answer like, oh, we're not seeing any global issues, blah 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 at the moment. You should check the servers. But you think I'm gonna go through all that trouble to check a damn server by downloading something else to do all that? You crazy? Okay, you're crazy.
Okay, so in other news, so here's a news report I got for you.
Oh,
So
okay,
apparently,
okay.
50 Cent is from Houston now.
Really?
Yeah, so
I didn't
so
hear
like a
this. Okay.
recent. Okay, so he posted yesterday. And I'm looking at it right now. So if you're looking, he said, if you're looking for me, I'm in Texas doing it big.
Okay.
And then I think of home see is another post he had posted where he's like, oh yeah. So he was like, I love New York, but I live in Houston. I'll explain later. Swipe left, green light gang. So yeah, so basically he's doing like a whole series and stuff out that way. So he's living in Houston now. So
Okay.
so the report came in as 50 cents from Houston. So I was like, I mean, Houston's popping right now. And then he had just recently posted like earlier today, like he said, man, people. He said some people in Texas got money. I just bet 175,000 for a bottle of wine, and I still lost.
Yeah, there's
Like,
articles that are popping up when I looked him up. It says 50 Cent wins international wine competition at Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Like, what the fuck?
hmm I mean, yeah, and he's not wrong. People in Texas
Oh,
are rich. It's no,
well, there's a lot
if
of
you're a
oil
rich
tycoons and
person,
everything else.
yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, if you live in Texas and you rich, you don't have to pay a property tax. It's like the perfect
Mm.
fucking place for you. Yeah, like yeah, I mean anywhere in the South, honestly. But
Well, it's
yeah, I mean
interesting.
Houston's a place I was considering moving to after I finished college. Like so, like yeah, like
See, the only problem is like people from California, since everything's so expensive there and their property tax and all that, that's getting so high. They're moving
they're
out to
moving their
places like
migrant.
Wyoming and Texas, and it's just going to get worse there because these
It's
people
just
are
going
coming
yeah,
in.
they're like most people that, and that's why they raise market in these big places because if they didn't raise the market in California and New York and places like that, people would just stay there.
Well, and the
So
problem
other places of the world remain cheap.
is a lot of these places, like especially the rich folk, when they're living in those areas, they vote a certain way, which then draws things to be more expensive and this and that, and makes it harder for everybody else. And then they
Exactly.
move to these other places to
Now you
fuck those
driving
places
the
over.
market down again. So like yeah, I
Yeah,
mean me and my wife to be of this Friday. Well, we was looking at places like Montana. Like
yeah. But the thing is,
I
you'd
was
have
like,
to be prepared for those conditions and understand everything that's,
oh, absolutely.
you
That's the
know,
whole yeah. That's the exactly. You know, but it's like it's one of those things where like yeah, like I wouldn't. I mean yeah, like I would love. I want to wherever I live at. I want to make sure the market is
yeah.
relatively cheap, kind of compared to where I'm at now. So I'm like, because I don't want to move into a market where like Pennsylvania or Virginia
Yeah.
or out west. close to out west, back where I'm from, like and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like when the market is extremely expensive, and you're gonna be struggling to get ahead.
Oh yeah. Nothing's gonna
With
change until
cost.
they give us a living wage and get rid of property taxes and all that shit. Honestly,
Exactly.
start taxing
So
the
yeah,
uber rich. Like fuck the working class. Like leave us alone. Like
no,
God,
for real, man.
it's ridiculous. But
For
yeah,
real,
it is.
fucking Montana's skinny as
Actually,
shit though.
funny thing was is like speaking of property taxes, I was listening to a live stream as I do on a regular basis because I like noise in the background when I'm doing whatever.
Yeah, yeah, same here.
And they actually brought up something actually pretty pretty interesting is that if they were to legalize weed in every state, so for recreational use and all that shit, they could get rid of property taxes. We would not have to pay property taxes anymore because the revenue itself would take care of everything. Then do it. Like honestly, because I see the problem is a lot of people in around where I live, we deal with a somewhat, I don't want to say high because I'm sure people pay more,
Hmm.
but for the area it's kind of ridiculous, and given certain properties around here like this property should not be worth that much in property tax, honestly. But um well, um but fuck you. Now you made me lose my train of thought.
Like, go ahead, like about cost of living. Go ahead, continue.
But okay, so my main thing is a lot of people around here, there's a lot of retired people, or there's people that don't have children, or their children have already grown and left the nest and da, da, da. They're like, why should I keep paying a property tax to pay for school taxes and everything else when my child is not going to these schools? You know what I mean?
Word.
Understandable. I get it. And considering, especially the school that's in my area that I even went to, that a lot of people went to, this motherfucker gets a
Hmm.
shit ton of money in grants and loans and everything else. Why the fuck am I paying for your bullshit?
Thanks.
Okay, you have a multi-million dollar fucking football field that we don't even need, that y'all brag about.
That we
That
talk about all the time.
when we got even more grant money, they were going to spend that money on that fucking football field. Nobody gives a shit about your football field, okay? Like, honestly.
I see no lies here.
So it's like they got a shit ton of money from grants, just to let alone they got money from the whole COVID bullshit. It's like, then why are you trying to raise taxes around the area? Schools were out, people were learning at home, so why? How couldn't you stay in budget? How? Because that's the main argument. Because apparently a school board meeting happened recently, and it was brought up. Oh, we're over the budget. Blah blah blah. We need more money. We need to raise taxes. We need to do. No 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 no. Kids weren't in school for almost a
No,
year, so
almost here.
why the fuck couldn't you stay in budget or under budget? Because no one was at the fucking school.
You ain't paying for shit. I would
So
stop
it's
paying them cafeteria people.
right.
They ain't there. You know what I'm
The
saying? Like you know what
cafeteria
I'm saying?
aren't
Like
there. Most of the teachers aren't there because they could do it from their home.
but yeah, the teachers are still getting their salaries and
Yeah,
shit because they teaching on
they're
Zoom. So
getting
yeah,
that, but it's like honestly, all the expenses to upkeep the fucking school is pointless
I don't know why
because
you were paying for that shit. You should have wait. You know, you should have put that money for aside for something else. You know,
exactly. So people are like furious, and it was actually
like you charge us. You charging us basically for a year. These kids were not in school.
it's and like honestly they're trying to do the hybrid thing, and they have issues because someone comes up as COVID positive, and then they have to shut down school, do all that, and it's a whole thing. It's actually speaking of that school, there's actually a fight recently between some girls. Don't know what the fuck happened. There's no backstory, but two girls apparently jumped this other girl. It's a whole thing. They're trying to make it a whole race issue. I don't know the details, but there's like, no, there's backstory to a backstory, blah, blah, blah. Bitch, whatever happened back in the day when I was going
Mm,
there, and these bitches started fighting in the cafeteria, and one grabbed the other one by the weave. I'm not even joking, and smacked
mm.
her head repeatedly into the table.
Oh
Y'all didn't
shit.
y'all didn't think that was a problem then?
Didn't think it. You sure didn't.
And when this was brought up, people were talking in the comments under like the article, right? And this guy who I think runs one of the fucking township boards or some bullshit around here, like they make stupid rules and trying to change tax zones or whatever shit. This motherfucker, someone had made a comment saying the school's ghetto, right? Honestly, it is. It is kind of ghetto. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and someone made a comment of that nature, and then this motherfucker chimes in and was like, "It's not ghetto. We live in a rich neighborhood. Blah blah blah." Excuse me? Rich neighborhood, sir? First off, just because you're well off and you're living in a nice neighborhood does not mean the rest of us are. Okay, that's one thing. Just because you make more than everybody else doesn't mean everybody else makes that same amount, because your dumbasses keep raising taxes on people that live in this neighborhood, trying to zhuzh it up and make it into a city. I'm sorry. When are you going to deal with the drug problem around here? And, you got crack addicts, meth heads, and all that shit lighting up fucking CVS's, like, or Rite Aids
For
or
real.
whatever. Um, what about the job problem here? Just because you put a facelift on the main stretch of the town does not mean it's a city and that we're all rich. Okay. Like, get it together. But like, he wanted to argue with this person about somebody calling it ghetto. Like, motherfucker, it is ghetto. It doesn't have to do with race. It has nothing to do with race at all. It has to
Mm-hmm.
do with the way the people act and the poverty that's in the area. Get it together.
Definitely.
I hate that. Like, these rich entitled motherfuckers. I hate it. Hate it.
For real, son. Word.
But I had to go on the rant. I had to. It all connected. I had to.
Mm-mm. No, no, no. Shit, it all connected.
But
I was just looking at this post. I was just going through like the Montana area and stuff like that.
mm-hmm.
I don't know if these two girls are sisters or not,
Oh god.
but if because they look alike, so I'm gonna go ahead and say
Okay.
they're sisters.
Uh huh.
I'll show you the post later. But
Okay. Oh god.
so both of them are pregnant. So here's my
Ooh.
thing about that though. It's a little cringy to me because I'm like,
Wait. Is this where
so
it's going? Where I think it's going?
I don't know. Let me see. I'm gonna say it and see because it's like they're both sisters
mm-hmm.
and they're both pregnant. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
one, maybe a couple months ahead of the other. But
Mm-hmm.
all that says to me is both y'all were fucking just everything in sight at the same motherfucking time, and you both just are so just got happily knocked up at the same time. That's cringy. Just the thought of that, it's a little cringy.
No, you know where my mind was going? I was like, are they sharing the same baby daddy? Like,
I
honestly.
mean, it might be possible. Yeah, that small ass.
Honestly,
So
that's where
like,
my
yeah,
brain went. I was like, Jerry Springer, Maury Povich kind of shit. I'm just like,
we're so blessed to be pregnant at the same time, so we let the same dude hit multiple
oh,
times.
that reminds me of something. Oh my god, there's I think it's a new show on TLC about like twins and how super close they are or whatever. And
Hmm.
there's actually this one set of twins. There, if you see them, oh my god, I might have to find them so I could send it to you. But they have to look exactly alike. So they have to eat the same amount. They have to work out the same amount. They get the same plastic surgeries. Um, they have to like sleep together in the same bed or the same room. I'm not sure. They go to the bathroom at the same time. They do all this fucking crazy shit. They even share a boyfriend and they plan on trying to get married as a throuple
Mm.
and then getting pregnant at the same time, I think.
Oh
And
my
I'm
god.
like, y'all are ass backwards. I can't. I
Like
can't.
for real, G.
Like they try to finish each other's sentences. It's kind of weird.
Like we're not twins. We're sisters.
Oh my god, it's
Type
terrible.
shit.
Let me
But
see if I can look it up and see if I can send you a clip of them because these motherfuckers. Okay.
yeah, it was like, and I'm also like, it's either one or two. If you live in a small region of the world, it's not many things you can do. Either you're gonna fucking get pregnant, or you're gonna be somebody who works out a lot.
Right.
Because even here where I live, it's a college town. But like, yeah, if you live in like, if you're from a lot of people that live in, I'm noticing a difference. Like, that's the blessing about being from a bigger part of the world and now seeing a smaller part of the world. See,
Mhm.
in the city, like when you live in like a big area like California or anywhere else like that in the world, like you can avoid these things a little bit faster, getting married, having kids, shit like that. It's almost unnormal to do those things so early.
There you go.
But pretty much living in a small town,
Yeah.
you pretty much ain't got a lot of shit you can do.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like especially if you go back to that small town after graduating college, there's not a lot you can do. Like not in a big city. So you're pretty much spending most time with your significant other, and
Mhm.
you're probably going to, especially during the quarantine time, all you're probably going to do is fuck. So,
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
so like
You're either
yeah,
gonna
so
fuck or you're gonna complain. So it's like pick one.
like it's like yeah, so pretty much all you're going to do is have a lot of fucking sex. So like yeah, that's why a lot of people just like either booed up or
Oh
got
yeah.
pregnant and
Well,
still booed up.
yeah. There's quite a few people that got pregnant that I
I'm
know
like,
of.
yeah, exactly. Same here with me. I was like, dang.
Like,
Especially if you and the same person were quarantining together. So like, yeah,
mhm. Like my
that's
childhood
going to
friend, her
happen.
little sister, I think, got married and pregnant. It was very quick. I don't know if when. I don't know. I'm very confused by it. Then that same friend, she just got married like a few days ago. They went out to like Vegas and got married. I was like, okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's like yeah, and pretty much like yeah, it's like if you got somebody you quarantining with or whatever like that, pretty
Mhm.
much a lot of that stuff enters the equation quicker.
Mhm. Oh yeah. People are speed running in it. I'm like, you might want to rethink that.
Well, and it's like yeah, I mean it also too if you also like yeah if you spend a lot of time with that person as your main quarantine person,
Yeah.
you're gonna learn a lot about that motherfucker
Oh yeah.
quick, very
Like if
quickly.
you've never stayed with each other before, that's when you're gonna fucking learn, and you're gonna know real quick. Now, granted,
And
there's
like
some people that can hide their true selves for a long period of time, but like after a while, it wears thin, and you're just gonna snap. I'm telling you, someone's gonna snap, and that's it.
yeah, like during the like last summer, I spent like every day with Faith, every fucking
Mhm.
day. So I learned the things that she annoys me with, and I learned the things she don't annoy me with. She slept over my place, I slept over her place. It just
Oh yeah.
yeah. So like yeah, that's the main person you're spending most of your time with.
Yeah, because once you're 24 hours a day, it's like after a while you see their little quirks
You see
and
what's up.
oh
Exactly.
yeah, you're just like
You know what's
really
up at that point. So he's like, well, you're actually somebody I can tolerate without getting annoyed with. So why not?
right.
So it's like, yeah, that's what it leads up to. He's like, well, shit, if I can spend all this time with you and not fight with you a lot,
Well, and
why
like
the fuck not?
a lot of the time, what happens is like yes, you get into these quarantine situations and like you think you can hack it, but then it's like once you get out of like the whole quarantine and you're able to go out in the world, that's when the real problems start because then it's like oh they want to go out and they want to do this, they want to do that, and they're hanging out with these people, and then it's like a whole thing. Honestly, it's like you're now seeing the other side of them that wasn't quarantine. You know what I mean? No more
Exactly.
lockdown. So
No more lockdown. No more lockdown. And like, yeah, I mean, and me and her, we also like we look forward to some of the things, like some
yeah,
things we want to do. We want to take salsa lessons.
right.
So we're like, don't, don't. Biggity!
Oh my god.
One of her favorite movies is like Take the Lead with Antonio. So
Okay.
like, so like, what was it? It was I played one day. We were just like, it was after I moved into my current place,
Mhm.
and I was playing music, and I was playing Pour Some Sugar on Me,
Mm.
and then we started doing the Forbidden Dance.
Ew.
Not that way. Like literally the fucking
I
salsa.
was like, L.
No shit, perv.
I can't help it. Okay.
No, it's actually that's what it's called. Salsa is
I
the
know. I
forbidden
know.
dance
I
because it's
know.
sex. It's sex in motion. You're moving your hips.
you
You're
and moving your
moving your
hips. I
hips.
can't.
It's all in the hips. It's
It's all
all
in the
in. I said, bitch, like, don't act, don't act like that. I've heard some stories about you, my friend.
hips.
Okay.
Hey, my stories are good.
I heard some stories about you. I heard that you're. I'm just gonna say in a particular section. I'm not gonna say where. You're the goat.
uh, I'm gonna go to a lot of things, okay?
But the this one particular one, you have even prided yourself on, and I must applaud you because it's a gift that most people do not appreciate.
Well,
You are the